Do you know there's one species here in this world that can't live forever? No, not my friend Mr. Flood, but a jellyfish. Curious? Let's find out. The immortal jellyfish, or Turritopsis dohrnii, is a species in the family Oceanidae and a member of the genus Turritopsis, according to World Register of Marine Species. As it says in its name, this jellyfish is truly immortal. This small, transparent animal travels the ocean around the world and can turn back time by reverting to an earlier stage of their life cycle. The supposedly immortal jellyfish, or Turritopsis dohrnii, has attracted attention from a large scientific community working on aging, regenerative, and cell differentiation in biology. Usually, jellyfish have two stages of life cycle, the medusa stage and the polyp stage. An adult jellyfish is called a medusa, which is the familiar umbrella-shaped form that we see in the water. The medusa is the reproductive stage. Their eggs are fertilized internally and develop into a free-swimming planula larvae. After a brief period floating about in surface water, the larvae settle to the sea floor, attaching themselves at one end. There, they develop into polyps and begin to feed and grow. In spring, some of the polyps start to bud off mature jellyfish known as Ephira larvae. These grow into mature jellyfish. On Turritopsis dohrnii, in Medusa stage, the umbrella is almost spherical, transparent, slightly higher than wide, with irregularly scattered cnidocytes, or tentacles, over most of the exumbrella. They are tiny, at a maximum of 4.5 mm tall and wide. Younger jellyfish have only 8 tentacles and are 1 mm tall, while adults can have up to 90 tentacles. In the polyp stage, colonies of Turritopsis dohrnii are about 8.56 mm in height and were growing on rocky overhangs, both directly on rock and on a variety of biogenic substrates. It also has about 18 tentacles, with each about 0.61 mm long. As it has been written before, jellyfish have two life stages. A new jellyfish life begins with a fertilized egg, which grow into a larval stage called a planula. After a quick swim, the planula latches into a surface, where it develops into a polyps. It remains stuck in place for some time, growing into a little colony of polyps that share feeding tubs with each other. Eventually, depending on the jellyfish species, one of the polyps will form an outgrowth called a bud, or it may produce separate segments stacked on top of one another that can break away from the rest of the colony. This process is responsible for the next stage of the jellyfish life cycle, the ephira, or a small jellyfish, and the medusa, which is the fully formed adult stage capable of sexual reproduction. For most other jellyfish, this stage is the end of the line, but Turritopsis dohrnii has a neat party trick. When it faces some kind of environmental stress like starvation or injury, it can revert back to being a tiny blob of tissue, which then changes back into the sexually immature polyp phase of life. It is a bit like butterfly turning back into caterpillar or a frog becoming a tadpole again. Turritopsis prefer warmer waters. Although they have been spotted in colder areas as well, they originate in the Caribbean Sea and the Mediterranean. The first discovery about this new everlasting kind of animal has shaken the world. Scientists, even the media, are constantly intrigued by this animal behavior. With technology and scientific advancement, things like an immortal human or the terms of a reborn human may yet come true. Either this is a good idea or a bad idea, we'll see furthermore.